Hey, Rachel.
All right, who is someone recording or did I press that?
I started it.
Oh, okay. I never seen that before. Cool. All right.
Yeah, it was like right
So
as you said it, so I probably wigged you out a little bit there. Sorry.
it's cool. Let's see here. All right, so I'm gonna start. Let me open up the good old slideshow. Let me share a link to that too. Slides. Few percent. All right. Boom. Welcome, 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 folks, to our Sunday meeting. Bunch of faces I see, both old and new. So let's get cracking. This is our weekly Sunday meeting for the national organization. Just keep you guys up to date as to what is happening in the ins and outs. So for those that are new, we are the Humanity First movement, and we have a vision of a future where data-driven government prioritizes intrinsic human value and quality of life. And our mission is to amplify the voice of people, to put integrity and humanity first. We champion policies that value human well-being over profit and tackle economic inequity at its roots, creating opportunities for communities to thrive. We engage elected officials, advance candidates, and support community leaders by galvanizing a broad coalition and mobilizing a grassroots movement. And I find it very awesome that we can look at that at the beginning of every meeting, just to remember what we stand for. And a shout out to the working groups that put that together. So volunteer code of conduct, if you simply can, if you haven't already, just press that link and sign it. We will, it's just for us to make sure, that there is a certain code of conduct to be expected amongst us. There's of course humanity first, so we want to make sure we adhere to those values. For the agenda today, we have a review of how the meeting goes, an overview for new folks, an update from the board, us at the interim board, reports from working groups, and then a Q&A discussion at the end. So if this is your first time, we start promptly right after 8:30. And for the most part, each section is 3 to 5 minutes long. And they will be given a warning when there's about 60 seconds left so as to keep track of time. Your time is very precious. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. And no questions will be taken during these times. In the chat, I've linked the agenda where you can put questions should you like to ask them or note them for later. But we like to keep those for the end so that we can get the meeting continuing on smoothly. For the sake of time, comments will be limited to 45 seconds. After 45 seconds, a verbal indicator will be issued so you know you have another 15 seconds to go. Again, for the sake of time, promptly and effectively. I keep on getting pop-ups. Here we go. Boom. So for any new folks, what is this group and how do I get involved? So we are essentially the spin-off of the national regional organizers that came out of the Yang 2020 campaign. We're all super happy, super activated, and super involved in the movement that the campaign itself helped spearhead. So we appreciate Andrew and everything that he has done. But as I tell people, he has passed the torch on to us to help us push this movement as far as possible. Change only starts from the ground up, and as the grassroots organizers, that is where we come in to help move the needle as much as we can. We work with Humanity Forward themselves, Andrew's nonprofit, on a continuous basis to help grow and push this movement as far as we can. That began with the Yang 2020 campaign. And we also, as you know, very connected on the grassroots level, the cities, the states, the regions. We all stay very connected with them and we basically act as an intermediary between the grassroots and Humanity Forward so we can coordinate as best as possible. So if you're interested in helping us, please join our working groups. There's actually some clarity coming later on in this meeting about the new ways we're structured so as to more effectively get things done and get people more engaged and energized. So, and then these calls on Sundays, as I said before, these are simply for an update for everyone that is joining us to get up to speed as to the happenings of the previous week. And there's links over here for your pleasure, basically, to know what's been happening. Update from the interim board. I think I'll split it with Tab over here, but there's been a nice little reorganization that we feel will be quite effective as to the operations in general moving forward. So Tab, you want to hop in?
Yeah, absolutely. So like we said in the announcements channel, we're very excited to have opened up the Humanity Forward Rapid Response Slack. That's where the Humanity First movement and our volunteers will be coordinating on our direct volunteer initiatives with Humanity Forward. So that includes our COVID relief calling, and phone banking and text banking for endorsed candidates by Humanity Forward. Because there's so much activity going on in the Slack, which is a well, yeah, because there's so much activity going on in the Slack. Everyone in the HFM Slack is a champ, an all-star volunteer. Some of our volunteers don't, perhaps want a more streamlined flow of information, so that Slack is more dedicated to just those direct volunteer activities, while the other proliferation of activities like regional organizing, diversity and inclusion, the org structure, the large picture movement building will continue to happen in HFM. So we almost have a more, I guess, defined volunteer engagement ladder now. So I hope that provides a little bit of clarity on that. And an exciting announcement that we have around that is that we will be giving a call to action. Andrew Yang and the recently elected Dr. Jermaine Johnson, will be giving a national call to action on Wednesday, June 17th, starting at 7 p.m. And we will be giving more details about that in the days to come. So stay tuned, and we really appreciate y'all's patience as we, I guess, have these growing pains and make these changes. We know that sometimes the communication can be a little bit spontaneous, and there's a little bit of confusion, but we really appreciate you guys' effort, and I can't stress that enough. Like this, all of this work is not possible without you all. And for you all to continue, giving your time so selflessly is like just mind blowing to me. So thank you to everyone. And if Gray has anything to add on that front, feel free.
Not a lot. Tab covered it pretty well. Like he said, the rapid response Slack is going to be some of our more direct action for right now, and then the Humanity First Movement Slack will stay dedicated to all the organizing efforts that we have been involved in to make sure that not just that we're winning some elections and pressuring Congress, but we have a plan for our long-term growth. We have a plan for our local and regionalized growth, and we are cohesive on how we are doing.
Cool. Thank you very much, folks. No, awesomely worded. And next up, we have a bit of a notification. So the next set of board members are to be voting in Sunday the 28th coming up, but we noticed that it is Father's Day. So we wanted to just open it up to a vote in general to everyone here. You can just press that Google form over here as to see when would work best based on the data that we received to do this, because the following weekend is 4th of July weekend. So it's kind of a back-to-back doubleheader in terms of important holidays. So we do, of course, want to make this transition as seamless as possible. We also, as being the movement that we are, want to make sure voter turnout is as high as possible. So there'll be more information on a later slide, but if you can please take a moment to press this link over here. I don't know if someone can put it in the chat. So as to just for us to get some data together and so we can make an appropriate decision so that make sure your voices are heard. There we go. And if you guys want to unmute for a second and just scream hooray, Dr. Jermaine Johnson, as we all know. What?
GPS, the form has 7/2 as Sunday, and that is not the date.
Okay, yeah, just pick the correct date.
It would be 7/5 for anyone who needs reference.
Yeah, disregard that, yes. There's a little typo there. It's either the 28th or the 5th, and July 4th we can follow through that. But yes, good catch, Yenny. For a second, I thought you were going to correct me about Jermaine Johnson winning. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm sure something's wrong here. So yes, folks, Jermaine Johnson, as you all know, what was that?
No worries. Just, yeah.
Massive shout out to Jermaine Johnson. He is the first of what we all know is going to be countless humanity first candidates that are going to be representing us on every level of government. I can emphasize this enough for people. Change does start from the ground up. Jermaine Johnson's is in that South Carolina state right now, and we have humanity first candidates up and down the ballot, as you'll see in later slides. But even to if you're with everything going on in the world, even with the protests about police brutality, like sheriffs, they're elected by county by the people. Police chiefs are usually put in place by the mayor and approved by their city council. All of these are elected officials, and it's important to remember, fundamentally, an elected official is there to represent your interests of people. So if you want to get involved, as we said before, the best hyperdrive way to do that will be to join the new Slack channel set up for direct volunteer operations. One of the main spearheading things is candidate support. And I myself, I'm going to be helping out the David Kim campaign now in California. I have very good feelings about him, and I'm excited to see how packed we can make our voices heard in both state and federal representatives and legislatures. So just a little summary on Jermaine, if you're not apprised. He's a father, husband, and community activist ready to bring a new era to South Carolina House District 80. The top issue he plans to focus on when elected is community development, economic investment, district enhancement, and access and accountability. Why isn't my thing working? There we go, sorry. And yes, here is a little breakdown of some of the big ones we have coming up. We have representatives like David Kim, and people running for representatives as David Kim in California. We have Mike Breuer in Kentucky going up against other candidates to go against Mitch McConnell. And we have various people in New York, New Jersey, Arizona, etc. So there's a link right there if you're curious as to how you can get involved. Making these phone calls and getting the word out can possibly be, could be the thing that makes the entire difference. Jermaine Johnson's campaign was, I believe, about not even 1,000 votes in general. So just a few hundred people voted for that particular area. And he managed to get not just the most of them, but like a huge margin. He won by such a tremendous amount. And I'm excited for him to be the start of a very awesome domino effect for us to basically spread humanity first across the country. Now, COVID relief. Do we have Brenna on right now?
Yes, I am here. Sorry, I was offline until 5 minutes before this call started, so I didn't prepare.
I hope my facilitating has been only as good as yours, so take it away.
So COVID relief. We have been making phone calls. There's been over 100,000 applicants to Humanity Forward's COVID relief program. So we have a group of volunteers who are making phone calls to these applicants so that we can verify their payment information, so we can get money into their hands as soon as possible. All of the people who have applied that we are calling have received an email asking them to verify their payment information, followed by a text message. So this is our third attempt at contacting these folks to get money into their hands. And we need more help with calling. There is a quick 30-minute onboarding that you can do whenever you have free time. There's a 20-minute video plus a short quiz. After you watch that, you'll be added to our Slack channel in the Humanity Forward Rapid Response Slack, and you're able to start calling, which is really rewarding. Getting to call people and tell them that they're getting money rather than asking them for money or asking them for the time or asking them to vote is really fantastic. So it's very rewarding work and very important work. So if you have free time and you would like to do some good, COVID relief calling is a great place to try that out. And thank you to everybody who made calls this week. We hit our previous week's numbers by 1 phone call. So fantastic work, everybody. We're gonna win by at least 1 call again this week. Does anybody have any questions? Are we taking questions? I don't know.
One thing I did want to add.
As you know, Brenna, questions are at the end. You should know that.
Last week we took questions during this time, so I'm confused. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Yes, thank you very much. For those that might be new to political volunteering, I myself understand as well that the first thing to be asked to call for candidates and sponsor and talk about them or knock on doors could be a big ask. So if you want to get more of a more introductory way of getting to talk to people, this is a fantastic way of doing it, in my personal opinion. It's like the phone version of going out in the streets and looking at people and just giving them a wad of cash and just making their day. And I tell people all the time, if you have an opportunity to make someone's day, you should absolutely take it. Because if we all did that, the world would be a much better place. So COVID relief calling, very much worth your time and very worthwhile.
And I believe that Gray was going to add about the COVID calling parties. Was that what you were cutting in for?
Correct.
Cool. Go for it.
Great.
So for those of you who are a little nervous or have questions about doing COVID calling, every Sunday and Tuesday, I'm going to spend 2 hours. We've got a Zoom link that I will make sure gets put in the chat. Sundays, it'll be from 3 to 5 Eastern and 12 to 2 Pacific. And then Tuesdays, it'll be from 6 to 8 Eastern, so 3 to 5 Pacific. And that way you can have other people that you're calling with, which makes it a social event, as well as ask questions and share successful calls you've had, or like vent a little bit if you had someone who was very emotional during a call. As we work together, we get more calls done, and it becomes a more positive experience. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And again, I will throw the links for that in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Gray. Now, current volunteer opportunities. Would that be, might be a Brenna thing as well, or Stassi or Tom?
This is Yenny.
Yenny, yes.
So this slide has not really changed in the last couple of weeks because we still have the same needs that we did a couple of weeks ago. We really need some people to step up. We've had a couple of people step up to do some help with the social media side of things. We need more people. We need more content, particularly. We need images and stuff like that. And we've got some really easy tools in Canva, and Colleen will talk more about that after. So that covers comms and content creation and regional organizing. We are really trying to find every single local and state level Yang gang that we can. If you have contacts in another state or are willing to step up and be a point of contact for your state, that does not necessarily mean leading it, just being that person that we can talk to in your state. We would love to have you hop into the regional organizing channel and communicate with us.
That's going to be a mixture of a lot of the supporters that were part of the campaign and even supporters about it now. Like, you know, as I'm sure we ourselves were on that side of the table where we didn't know what this movement was all about until we heard about it. And then that changed our lives completely. And I'm willing to bet there are plenty of people out there that just need to know what this is all about, to just have it, as with us here, drown our lives completely in the best way possible. And an interim board. Yes.
And then at
yes.
Sorry, the top, just a, I believe we're still looking for Humanity Hang mods.
And yep.
Is anyone in here about the Humanity mod stuff?
Kimberly would be able to speak on that, I believe.
Yeah, we would love to have more people on our team. Thank you very much. If you would like to help out with the Humanity Hang mods, please click on that tiny URL and fill out that application, and we will get you onboarded.
And GPS, can you refresh the slides? I updated them based on the vote.
Oh, okay.
So just stop and restart.
There we go. Sometimes I forget if I muted myself or not. Okay. And for those that aren't aware, Humanity Hangs are essentially just considered like a social event. There's no obligations, there's no phone calling, none of that stuff. It's just a space for you to just hang out. And especially during this time of quarantine and isolation for a lot of people, it can be very difficult mentally and emotionally for people to get through that. So if you're a person that just likes to listen like myself, it's a great way to just, you know, give people a space where they can just talk about things, or you can talk about whatever you'd like to. Kimberly's been heading that up for a while. Mad kudos to her. It's been an awesome way to just detach yourself sometimes from what's going on with everything.
And this is one of our star moderators. Thank you very much for all of your volunteer work with that. We love you.
Oh, no, thank you. You can't see my face, I'll be like, oh, stop it right now. And then, so this was, was this up? Was the updated information? I just turned to this one.
Yes, so I'll take this. So
Okay.
the overwhelming vote was to keep the election on Father's Day, not on 4th of July weekend. So the organization management working group, since we had a number of folks that left the board, and then there was a question about should it be a smaller board, going forward, they've decided that there's going to be only 7 members on the board, and that they'll lengthen the terms to 4 months with a 2-month stagger. So the current interim board members that their term ends on the 28th, that will end at that time. And then the board members whose terms would have continued to August 9th, they have an extra few weeks just to get onto the stagger till August 23rd. And then the 3 open spots for the board term will be June 28th through October 18th. So the voting, based on the feedback from the last 2 elections, it'll be kind of a hybrid. The voting is going to go back to in-meeting voting in the Sunday meeting. All the candidates will be present. They'll give a 30-second statement. The voting form will be shared after the candidates have spoken, and then everyone will have like 5 minutes or so, however long necessary to vote. What also is different is we're going to announce the next two runners-up, and then should an active board member resign, those are the folks to kind of step in to the position. So the timeline is actually about an hour after this meeting, this link will work. There's one section I have to add in there. So folks can submit themselves as candidates. The deadline for that is Tuesday, the 23rd, midnight Pacific time. So that's when the candidates close. 2 days later, we publish all the candidates for everyone's consideration. They can read their statements. And then on Sunday, the 28th, we'll have that in-person voting here in this meeting. And then they begin having meetings with the board and with Erica for Humanity Forward that following Monday. And then we have the same documents, the board minimum requirements, and the advice for future board.
I keep on thinking I'm muted. Thank you very much, Catherine. As always, very articulate. And shout out her. I don't know how she gets some things done sometimes. Even as I was presenting, she was just getting all this information in the background and updating
Oh, and
us
just
on
to
our...
answer Elaine's question, where she said, was the decrease of number, that was, the board discussed it and then they sent recommendations, but the deciding group was the organization and management working group made those decisions. So there was a proposal and they chose that. So there was no kind of open membership vote.
Okay. Awesome, thank you very much. So yes, in about an hour after this meeting is over, that link will be live and we'll be pushing it through all of our channels with discretion so that people can apply to be new board members. Now, regional organizing, who do we have for that? I'm not muted, am I?
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh, okay.
Hey, so this is Keith from Massachusetts. For regional organizing, so far we have 13 active states, 10 of which we're coordinating with in our national Slack. We have these nifty presentations that are basically updates for each state. And one of the cool things about the most recent one is that we are tracking the metrics for active volunteers within those states. So please be sure to check those out, especially the most recent one, and also add to them if you have any information. We have 5 states that have rebranded as Humanity First / Humanity Forward / Humanity First Movement states. In terms of regional Zoom hangs and updates there, the Northwest had their first Zoom hang this past Friday. The Southwest, Southeast, and Northeast have also already hosted, and the Gulf Coast states are planning a Zoom hang for next week. The date on that is pending. We are working on drafts for a chapter agreement that kind of prevents schisms within the chapters, and also chapter development to track progress and kind of like give benchmarks that chapters can use to track their progress. We are looking for 2 reps from each state to the national movement. So please join us in the regional organizing channel. We meet every other week on Wednesday from 7:30 to 8 p.m. I think the next slide also just has a quick update.
This in particular is the next slide. Unless
Yep.
I'm missing something there. There we go.
Yeah, I was just quickly noting that the comms team would like to be able to boost all of the work happening at the state and local level. So you can see some of those initiatives below and some of the great work that they've done at comms, getting that information out. I think that's it. Thanks.
Yeah. Shout out comms, you've been doing a lot of tremendously good work lately. This is starting to feel like the campaign all over again, but with so many awesome candidates running. Working group comms, speak of the devil. I think we have Colleen here.
Okay, yes, I was muted. All right.
There you are.
So we are really zeroing in on one comms function for this week. That is because we have so many candidates and primaries on Tuesday. So we're just focusing on promoting candidate support events on the social media platforms. So what we're promoting are the text banking signups, phone banking signups, text banking parties, phone banking parties, and also just some more particular information about the candidates looking for, so I'll get to that. So the simplest things that you can do are follow HF Movement Twitter, follow the Humanity First Movement Facebook group, follow the Humanity First Movement Facebook page, and share those posts to your wall, share those posts to your regional groups. We share posts from our page to different national groups like Andrew Yang Public Fan Base, Friends of Humanity Forward, but we're not sharing to regional groups, so please do that within yourselves. Other simple thing to do, if you're on Reddit, upvote our posts, retweet, DM posts to people who you know, friends who you know might be actually wanting to phone bank or text bank. And what actually helps a bit, especially for the algorithms, are if you comment and react and tag people in the posts on Facebook. Okay, so those are the really simple ways you can help by helping with algorithms and moving the message out there. Another huge, gigantic, fabulous way you can help is by helping to create content. Okay, we have 3 kinds of content posts we're making. We're making call to action posts so that you use red siren graphics. They're loud and gaudy and obnoxious and effective. We're doing celebratory posts that are, you're like, yay, we just text banked that 30,000 people yesterday. You know, the ones to keep people motivated. And then, especially if you're someone who knows a candidate well, we're doing candidate information posts. So as people are text banking or phone bank, they can learn more about a candidate. So that might be something like, you know, of a great YouTube video that, and there was this time-stamped moment where they went in more depth on, you know, their Green New Deal ideas. Like something like that you can post so that people who are on those persuasion calls have something meatier that they can say. The best times to post are whenever you can, really, but especially be posting, you know, especially be phone banking. Try to balance your time between creating content and helping with the phone banking. Last, okay, so if you're on Slack, drop a message in comms, because in this short presentation, I'm not really introducing you to where you can create content, okay? So if you're interested in helping in these ways, drop a message in comms and we can onboard you simply. And last thing, this isn't on the slide, but it's just come up in this meeting. I've seen some messages come up in chat. For example, like when Yenny was talking about we need more content, someone suggested like Yang Gang Roundtable. So I saw that suggestion, but generally suggestions that go in chat, you might not see them. So put those suggestions into the comms channel so that they come directly to the working group. All right. Yenny, have I missed anything?
No, I think that's yeah,
Okay.
I think that's most of what we're needing urgently.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. And again, drop a message in the comms channel if you want to get involved or clarifying. Okay. Check.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Colleen. You've been doing a lot of good work, and she's so cool. She gets her own color scheme on her slides. All right, working group, diversity, inclusion, and outreach. Who do we have for that?
Hi, y'all. I'm sorry about the noise. I'm driving right now, but this is Yara, and I'll update you on what happened during our weekly standing meeting. We had a presentation that I hope that y'all will take the chance to check out. There is a link in the presentation slide here where you can see the slides that were adapted from PowerPoint. It shed light on some perspectives within the Black Yang Gang for our project Connect and Learn. The presentation specifically touches on 3 things: improving outreach, the importance of UBI for the Black community, and what needs to be dismantled / changed in order for Black people to genuinely benefit from the influx of capital generated via UBI. And I also just want to put out a little reminder about the 2 newer sub-channels of diversity and inclusion and outreach. There is the Diversity, Inclusion, Justice, Reform Data channel and the Diversity, Inclusion, Disability channel. Very exciting things going on in all 3 channels in general, and I hope that y'all will check those things out. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, moving right along. Yang Gang goes to Congress. I think that's Angelo. Where are you at, man?
Right here. All right,
Welcome,
so
welcome.
thank you. We have gotten quite a few new video testimonies. We haven't had, up until this point, we hadn't had a chance to review them all and really give them the time they deserved. So this Tuesday, we're going to be meeting with everyone that submitted a video and going over their testimony, giving constructive feedback, and making sure that everyone, yeah, thank you, Hannah, and making sure that everyone is, on the same page. We are going to be also looking at setting up an advertising video soon, which we'll be posting on our Testify for UBI website, as well as our social media. We're going to be looking for people to submit a short video saying their name and their political affiliation. We're going to have some stats on the current state of the country, unemployment, etc. And the end of the video, we're going to have them all say, "And I support UBI." So sort of a generic advertising video, but something to generate attention to what's going on here. And then the following week, everyone that has already gotten feedback on their testimony are going to be doing live testimony. So in that meeting, we're going to have everyone gather together as if they're testifying before Congress and going through their testimony down the list.
Awesome. And real quick, for any new faces here, Angelo, can you give a little 15-second tidbit of what this is in general? I'm sure they may have surmised based on the title and everything.
Okay, so we got invited by Congressman Tim Ryan to testify before Congress. Our goal is to depoliticize UBI and advocate for a non-means tested, truly universal emergency UBI during this time of COVID to lay the groundwork for permanent UBI. So we're looking for people from all backgrounds, all economic positions, all walks of life really, to represent to Congress and more importantly to the people watching on the news at home, what UBI will do for them and why it's a superior option to the other COVID relief plans that have been put on the table by Congress.
Excellent. Angelo, thank you very, very much for your hard work. This is a very exciting prospect and we're looking forward to it tremendously. Okay, and here we have a little summary of all the weekly meetings currently happening right now. This is also posted on the calendar Slack channel on the national board, so we know. So they're usually updated as frequently as needed, but for the most part, they're pretty standing. So if you would like to get involved in any of these particular working groups, these are them basically. Join our Slack and get involved. I'm starting to get a lot of feelings from the campaign days about presenting today. Sorry guys. It's just like I've been smiling the entire time I've been presenting. It's been pretty nice. Reminds me of the old volunteer calls. So November is still November, folks. We got a long road ahead of us in terms of changing this country. So let's get to work. All right, questions and comments. And with that, I'm going to revert back to stopping screen share so I can see some hands. If you are new to Zoom, if you go to the participant buttons, there should be a button for raising hands. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns that you'd like to express, now is our Q&A and open discussion time. And I am not. And I do apologize if I missed a lot what was going on in the chat. Since I was presenting, I couldn't really pay attention to that. But did anyone spot any questions on the chat that we can address for you?
Motherfuckers. Oh, shit.
What?
Hey, sudden outburst time.
Wow.
Hey, you guys, we never did the cheer for Dr. Jermaine Johnson. Let's do it now.
Let's do a cheer.
Yeah, on your mics.
All
Dr. Johnson. Yeah.
I just have to say, was that Colleen?
No, that was Kim, I think.
That was somebody else.
That was Kimberly.
I thought, because I heard it
Always
and
yell
then I
at
saw
your
Colleen.
technology, because if you yell at it, it'll start working.
Oh my
I
gosh, 'cause
really
I saw
wanted
Colleen,
to
like,
start working
hover her
better.
butt.
I'm sorry. New computers are hard right now. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I would like someone from the leadership.
People getting pissed.
Comedic timing.
Yeah, I just heard that.
Anna has her hand up.
You have a hand up?
Hannah has a hand up.
Oh, Hannah, go right ahead.
Hey, hi everyone. Sorry I haven't really been involved in this whole thing. Wow, it's a really huge organization you all have built. It's really awesome. So I had a question in regards to the relationship between HFM and Humanity Forward. What other kind of support is Humanity Forward giving to this organization? Because it seems like you all are putting in a hell of a lot of work, and Humanity Forward just seems to have like a little bit of like a side presence happening.
So I don't know if anyone else would like to answer, but if I were to speak on behalf of the organization,
Go
and,
ahead,
at
GPS.
least my
You've
part
got
of
a
the
good
board.
frame on it.
What was that?
You've got probably the best frame on it for saying it.
So I'm a person that likes to describe things very simply. And the way I describe our current structure is kind of think of it as a positive symbiotic relationship, with the caveat to understand that Humanity Forward is currently Andrew and about a dozen other staff members. And they're using all the money they're raising for their immediate causes, COVID relief, etc. So with them only having 12 people and we're acknowledged as a national grassroots organization, we are working very hard to make sure we are both thriving, and that depends on us helping them. But going back to your question in particular, what are they doing for us in general is it's kind of being set up in a way that, to put a very simple example, Andrew tweets out like, hey, we have a big push for David Kim coming up. If you'd like to help, hit up this particular channel. And then once we get the influx of support and volunteers, like, hey, Andrew, we got it from here. Thank you very much. So it's kind of, we're trying to build that relationship we kind of wish we had during the campaigns. I'm sure you all know. A lot of us can feel that the grassroots was kind of like their ideas and their willpower was kind of pushed to the side, when we all know that if you just empowered the Yang Gang on the grassroots level, we would have gone so much further. So in many ways, this is our opportunity to do just that. And us having weekly meetings with Erica, who was our liaison with Humanity Forward, and having monthly meetings with Andrew himself is a big step in the right direction for us. Having that one-on-one time with Andrew for us to speak and for him to acknowledge the important work he does, and they're awesome too. He gets very into it. You can tell his handlers like we got to go to the next thing, but he kind of wants to stick around and just hear us out and offer ways in which he can help. So it's building a positive relationship for a lot of long-term goal, I guess would be a way of putting it. Does that answer your question, or do you like me to expand on anything?
Can I jump in real quick?
Of course.
The other thing is, in the last meeting, he offered something to the states. He said that, he wants to tweet and retweet about, things that the state chapters are doing, the local chapters are doing. So he followed the HF Movement Twitter account so that they can DM him with specific asks. So the regional organizing is thinking about how best to use that. Then he also offered, like, I want to recognize the people in your chapters that are doing really great work, because one of the things people appreciate is, kind of time and interaction with Andrew. So like that's something he's offering and Humanity Forward's offering to the states. And then the other thing is, can he signal boost events by attending? So one of the things that we're in the process of proposing is for all of these candidates that are running, that the candidates have these joint Zoom sessions where, like in Massachusetts, for example, we're supporting 2 candidates, one of whom is Robbie Goldstein. And so just inviting the Massachusetts Yang Gang from his district and Andrew Yang to come to kind of a volunteer / fundraising recruitment. So, he is looking for proposals of like, how can he support the work that the states are doing?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it kind of tracks with what I've been thinking the relationship is, which is just kind of, I don't know quite how to put it, but I don't know if like the support itself is super substantive at this point, because it do seem like Humanity First Movement is pretty much doing all of the work. And yeah, so I'm just keeping that in mind, because I kind of feel like that's where I thought it was going when the discussion was first happening. And so I don't know. I just wanted to check it out. Thank you.
Oh, of course, yeah. Wrap and provide clarity. And then we have Andrew with his hand raised. You can go ahead and then, oh, you're unmuting yourself. Okay.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. So at the time of raising my hand, there were 35 people here on the meeting. I know some people dropped off, but if we're going to be voting on the 28th, how is the board going to ensure that we have decent participation? Because I've noticed over the past couple of weeks, our meeting numbers haven't been, as good as they used to be. So how is the board and the organization as a whole going to ensure that we get as many people to vote as possible to ensure fairness?
Could I answer that? By creating content and put it on social media? Do you want to help with that? Anybody wants to help with that? Come to Comms Channel.
What I
did
would
join
say
the
is,
content creation group, but
yeah, what I would say to that is, I think if we publicize to our members that something that's important is happening, they show up. And this is an opportunity for folks to get representation, and I think they will show up given proper publicity to the groups. And really, we're not trying to have people who don't really know anything about what's going on. There are many states that are very actively engaged and have been like seeing what's happening, and those will probably be the people who are the most successful, the ones who are already ramped up and ready to work the number of hours that are necessary.
I'd also like to mention that last time we did a vote in the meeting, so not this previous election, but the one before that, we had a spike of about 50% of attendance from the previous meeting, and the meeting after it, there was like almost twice as many people at the voting meeting. So I feel like that fact that we're voting and the fact that we're going to be putting out there the candidate stuff and everything like that, that'll naturally draw a little bit more people. We had that similar effect happen when we were doing the announcement of the election this past cycle. Not quite as to the same extent, but it was, I think that with how many more people we are able to reach at the moment, especially given the fact that we've reconnected with more states and things like that, we can, I think we'll get more people than we did 2 times ago, which was 121 people. But that takes everyone sharing it to their groups, to the working groups, to the regional and state and chapters and stuff like that. So it's not just one person or one small group of people. Everyone has to do the push on this. We need the shares, we need the posts. Yeah, it all kind of comes together with comms, because a lot of our messaging just needs more help to get out there.
For me, like this is like the first time I'm really joining on the call, and what really helps was when Faye just like directly asked me to be on here. Like I wasn't even sure like what the structure was or the point. So setting up. Oh, there's a bald eagle. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a bald eagle. Anyway, yeah. So if you help people like maybe with the introduction class or video, I think that might also help, because like, or I don't know, maybe you guys already have one and I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Actually, Faith, that ties into the suggestion I was going to have. Everyone here, I'm sure we've all met someone amazing during the campaign. Maybe that person's not as active anymore. This is a good opportunity to get them activated again. And I'm sure someone else might have also been a long time since you got in touch with them. So if I can make one recommendation to everyone here, reach out to someone in the Yang Gang that you haven't spoken to in a while. Check in on how they're doing, because I'm sure a lot of us could use some checking in right now. And then, maybe invite them in here and see how they can help us move the needle forward too.
Some people are like, wow, you guys are still doing stuff. They're not even aware of what's been like worked on. So it's important for us to also recognize that there's a lack of awareness just in the capacity of what we're doing.
Exactly. And it's up to us to get the word out. We got this team. So Andrew, does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Thank you, man.
The discussion came out of that.
Cool. All right, Angelo, up next.
I just wanted to comment on something that Faye had mentioned, and it was a suggestion I've had for a while, and that is have Andrew officially recognize us. Just say our name or something on the podcast, just a way to, give us the actual, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Recognition, so that people actually know, oh, okay, this Humanity Forward Movement thing is a legit thing. Because I think the problem is people don't know who we are with the new name, and they have no idea what we're doing here on the national level. And when we try and, I can only speak from my experience, but I know when I try and tweet out stuff from Humanity Forward Movement, it doesn't get a lot of attention, mostly because people have no idea what Humanity Forward Movement is, or Humanity First Movement, sorry.
That is a very good point, Angela, and it's something we are discussing with HF with as well. But yeah, things are going nicely. Unfortunately, I keep on looking at chat, but yes. But yeah, for sure. People...
Can I chime in real quick? Okay.
Of course.
The Yang Gang Roundtable podcast, we've kind of transitioned in kind of a think tank of sorts, and I think there's also like, we talk about a lot of different psychological components and like strategies, and if you have to ask questions. So if you need to workshop ideas, like please come to the Yang Gang Roundtable. We love having guests on. We don't mind having extra people, but like this is just my little plug. Like, but even if Yang helped us facilitate this working group to be bigger, because we're trying to podcast it out. And we're not getting enough traffic, but we have quality content. And even if people chopped up little bits of it, like and worked it a little bit more, we don't have that talent in our particular group right now, per se. We're busy with other things. So if anybody has video editing abilities, go in there and chop up some content. Like we got so much of it.
Yeah, because we have clips. We've had Tim Ryan on the show. We've had Rokana on the show. We've had Scott Sentens on the show. We've had Erika Simone. We've had a lot of really talented speakers, and there's a lot of clippable material. It's just not clipped. So
I believe that's the. Is that where Tim Ryan said he was Yang Gang?
That's where he invited Yang Gang to testify before Congress.
Yes. Yeah, I'm 2 for 2 on asking Congress members for something on the Yang Gang podcast. A roundtable.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. And the Yang Gang Roundtable podcast is on Spotify, by the way. They upload all their episodes over there.
It's on Spotify and Twitch.
It's on Spotify,
yes.
Twitch, Anchor, and YouTube.
It'll be really helpful if we could get a Paget Kagi on. She hasn't been on yet, and she's been part of the Yang Gang since a long time. I remember meeting her at the Santa Monica Park in person. So yeah.
I'll ask her since I'm in a chat room with her.
Yeah. We just published episode 80 today, so there is quite a lot of content. The average episode is an hour and a half or 2 hours long. So
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, when I scroll through the Spotify, I'm like, damn, there's millions of them.
it's a lot of really poor people talking about their heartfelt need for a chance at being a part of their communities and being a part of society that they feel can only be provided via UBI. There are a lot of not poor people who believe academically in the value of UBI. We've had entrepreneurs on, philanthropists on. So we explore and advocate for UBI from many different vectors. So yeah,
that's awesome. Thanks guys for doing that. Yeah,
maybe we should be on.
Yeah, you should be on. You should come on. You should come to a Discord, because part of the idea is to bridge communication gaps between the very nuclear as in nuclear family, not bomb, and disparate UBI advocacy community. So I mean, I've never met most of you.
I'm in the Twitter chat, so I'll message y'all there.
So much is about the platform, like, who uses Discord? Different kinds of people than the people who use like Slack or Zoom. So I'm glad that we're there now. That's the Yang Gang on. Well, there are a bunch of Yang Gang Discords, but like there's only this one. I don't know.
Shale, can you drop the Discord link in the chat here so
sure.
we can get more people on?
Anyway, yeah.
Awesome.
By the way, we have so much representation from our particular group. Like, Faye put the message in the chat group, and she's like, "Here it is, guys." So like, that's what brought how many members that are on our group? I think 7 of us are from just the roundtable itself. So I mean, it does work, guys.
Yeah, and we're looking like Yang got his big thing from Joe Rogan. But the thing is, it's not that we say, but if we can get a shout out from anyone here who is a content creator, all Yang Gang content creators should shout out other Yang Gang content creators, and then we can get just as big as the Bernie channels are, like Young Turks and Pac-Man and all these other people, and we can like coalesce around these people and these ideas more, so we can gain that kind of traffic.
Hey man, build coalitions, man. We're all on the same team. Excellent. Angela, is that a legacy hand? I believe it is.
Wait, what? Oh, yes. Sorry, didn't put mine down.
Cool. Well, I think that does it for all the questions. First and foremost,
Faye just put her hand back up.
Oh, Faye literally has her hand up. I used to do that too. Don't worry.
Okay, I have several questions. One is, what's going on with our website? Let's just start with that one.
There's we had some snafus with a little bit of technical stuff, and then there's a bunch of stuff related to amount of time that we've had available to do it. The folks that are putting it together are very active in the Sacramento protests, so that has taken up a bit of their time. So it has been delayed, but we've just got some content that needs to be adjusted slightly, and it should be ready to go very soon. So we're hopeful for getting that out. I want to have it out by next Sunday, but I'm not going to promise that.
Do you guys need any help with that?
I think we've pretty much got it. It's just the getting it over to the right place and stuff like that at this point.
Yeah, it's done. It's just, it needs to go from a test environment to a production environment.
And I also see Bruce's comment about Yang 2020. Yes, they had to pull that down for some unknown reason. I guess it's similar to how if you put wedding in front of something, it automatically gets more expensive. If you put candidate in front of anything, it gets more expensive. So their hosting fees were ridiculous, and they didn't want to have to pay for an entire another year. It just makes absolutely no sense. I was looking at websites that are designed for candidates because I'm planning on running locally, and I was like, why is this so expensive? It made no sense. Like something that I could probably design on my own in like a weekend was like $50,000 level of design, which makes no sense. So one of the really great things about Aria, who's doing our website, is that he's also hoping to do more affordable candidate related website and social media stuff. So there's some prep going on for that end, for supporting the UBI community. I think I just
Okay.
rambled. I apologize.
That's all right. You wanted to answer some more questions. I wanted to thank you guys for starting that the next channel, the channel for the what to do in terms of what do we want to plan for the George Floyd protests and stuff. I hope we can get more people into there. I just heard that you guys said you've been sending emails to everyone, and I haven't received any emails. So I'm wondering what's going on.
Catherine?
Oh, we're now just standing up like an email software, but in the past, like when we @channel people in the announcements channel, that gets pushed out to every single active member, so all 18,000 people's email. Now, what your Gmail or whatever does with that is a separate thing. So if you search for it, you find it, but it's pretty buried.
Would I have had to sign up for that? Is that something I would have to say, yes, I agree to accept it or something?
No.
It's in the settings of Slack. Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, that too. It'd be in the settings of Slack, but also be like an email from Slack with an update from that particular workspace.
Yeah.
Okay, so people who did not agree to accept it wouldn't be able to get it?
No, I think it's one of those things you have to opt out of with Slack, in terms of the notification settings. I know I have mine turned off, so I don't get them.
Okay, is there a way for us to send like a general email or to start calling people if we have phone numbers for them?
So we just got a email platform. We've got the form set up for the website, and we're in the process of getting the newsletter started, but it takes a little bit of time. We just got the platform set up this past weekend, so.
Yeah, and the other thing is like what is the best use of our time? So when you look at it, it shows there are 18,000 people that have at one time signed up. But when you look at the entire history of this Slack, no more than, I mean, the day Yang dropped out, 1,000 people showed up to, basically be like, oh, that's terrible, or, whatever they said. But every other time, there's about 500 people reading and maybe about like 200 people posting. And now post campaign time, we're about like several hundred people reading and like 60 people posting. So the number is very misleading. And probably what's healthier is that kind of person-to-person contact where people have come to meetings, been active volunteers, and build up with that, then kind of going after, these people may or may not come back, but let's start with the people that are here and that are we're working with.
So do we have a actual like mailing list or a group of, do we have information for our members that we're allowed to use?
The states do.
So the National Slack doesn't actually have phone numbers or email addresses for our members?
Well, when you signed up the National Slack started as a property belonging to Yang 2020. So in some ways, that is not ours. So we're building up our membership as it were, and they're willing to send out a blast to their email and say, hey, come join your chapters. And hey, the network of state chapters just launched their website. Like they are willing to email and let people know. But, we're trying to do it in a very, at a point where it makes sense rather than, hey, come on in. There's no structure.
So I would like to start collecting that information in a database that we can control in our grassroots.
Oh yeah, we are already.
Yep.
Okay.
So the newsletter platform has some very basic level CRM type stuff where you like can collect all the contacts and tag them in different ways. And then the tech team is currently working on a CRM for the future, so that we have a robust system that meets all of our needs, or at least hopefully all of our needs, depending on what is available out there. Yeah. Yes. GDPR is one of my major. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, and the last question I had was actually about how are we organized in terms of funding and things like that? Do we have any method of, you know, like somehow getting funded for things for your projects, you know?
So at the moment, that's still very much up in the air. We don't have funding or fundraising capabilities. We're not legally organized in any given way. We are going to be meeting with a lawyer in the next, hopefully 1 to 2 weeks. He finally responded to my email and said that he'll be calling me this week. It's been a week and a half of trying to get in touch with him. So we've also got Nevada's lawyer is also willing to speak with us because he has experience at a national level as well. So we've got a couple of different options, different things that we're checking out in terms of legal and financial structure, where we put our eggs in what baskets and what blankets. So yeah, we've got there's some states that are choosing to do their own 501c whatever. There are some states like Texas that are choosing to be a I don't remember what it's called, non-owned
association.
that. And then there's probably going to be other states that don't want to build something out on their own. They don't have the bandwidth, or they're just coming online. They don't have the people to do it. So we're going to have a wide variety of people in the movement in terms of chapters and structures. So national is still pretty much up in the air. There's a lot of different things that we need to make sure that we're legally abiding by, and which options would be the best for us, both financially and legally. So.
Okay, thank you very much for answering. And I also wanted to suggest that if we're having trouble filling up comms right now and getting enough people to talk about it there, I mean, some of the things we could probably talk about at the Sunday meeting, and, you know, still, I don't know, I mean, I feel like we could be able to talk about some of the things if we get people into at least this meeting, even if we don't have enough people working on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, there I was muted. You guys are free to do as you wish after the meeting ends. These Sunday meetings are primarily for just a general update as to what's going on, to receive feedback from people and questions like we do at the end. But the comms channel does have standing meetings. I can scroll back to the calendar and the slides, but they have Sunday meetings on that you can see on the calendar channel as to when they do happen. So those are just hyper focused on those activities themselves.
Well, I guess I'm going to take just a moment of silence to interject. Thanks for having me. So, I mean, like, I started the podcast I do because for like a year, I would go into different Yang Gang like Discords and groups and say that I'm an audio engineer. If anyone has audio that they would like to have cleaned up or equalized or compressed or edited or fixed in any way, let me know. So if you're doing a video or a podcast or an audio piece of work that is in service to Humanity Forward or UBI or Andrew Yang, then just let me know if you need any help with it at all, and I will do everything I can. Very experienced audio engineer, I can make things sound pretty good. So even if you even suspect something might benefit from a little bit of post-production, just just let me know. Just get at me on the Discord. My name on the Discord. Just send me a message. So, yeah, or I'm on Twitter at SHAELRALEY, the same name that I have here.
Awesome. Thank you, Shelly. Never underestimate the talent pool that we have at our disposal. A lot of us want to contribute as best we can, especially on the grassroots level. We can make a lot of things happen. If there are no more virtual or real hands raised, I see Faye with her finger up.
Okay, so so the Humanity First movement, that the other one that existed before we took the name, they all had a Discord server, and that Discord server is eventually going to be our Discord server, right? I'd like to see that integration happen as soon as possible too.
Brendan, would you mind giving an update on that?
Yeah, so great team over there that started the Humanity First movement before we did, technically, back in February. Paige Havener is one of those people. So is Dennis R. I'm forgetting his last name. But they had a website. They had a Discord server. They didn't have that much activity, though. Their activity dropped off pretty quick. And so when we came to them and we offered to join up with them, they were more than happy to just completely join up with us. But then we also reached out to the more popular Humanity Forward Discord, which has thousands of people there that are active, and they decided they wanted to work with us. So they actually have created channels already on their Discord for the Humanity First movement, our meetings, our volunteer opportunities, the whole thing. We're going to be really tight, but they're waiting on the website to be released to announce that. But it's totally been worked out. It's going to happen.
Awesome. All right, folks, I think, we're actually pushing time over now, and I have a California Hanks to attend after this. So on that note, I want to thank all of you so much for coming. Again, it's not homework, but I just recommend I try to do this as often as I can.
When
Yes.
do you guys get time to eat, go to the bathroom, and take showers? It's always meetings. You guys need to take eating breaks and shower breaks and naps and
No, we don't.
and go poop and pee.
Listen,
The Yang Gang doesn't sleep.
I just make more cocktails.
listen.
I got food.
What I used to say during the campaign is, I'll sleep when he's elected. Now I'll sleep when it's the movement where we want it to be, okay? We have a lot of work to do.
Well, that's when video's off. That's when we're doing all those things.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm older and I'm sick with 2 debilitating chronic illnesses, and I just wish I had the physical capability to run all over the planet like you guys do.
We appreciate you, Jacqueline. You're
It's
a rock
really useful being like stuck on my couch on my laptop with no actual job. That's why I'm on here so much. I'm around because I'm around.
I'm not really around. I'm kind of like sort of an upside down pear shape, kind of with the cousin with the cousin thing going on. I can
But
do
Jacqueline,
real good.
I'm going to wrap
what
things
you're
up right
doing-
there. I have to
Yeah.
get going. Sorry to interrupt, but I have to get going and I'm close. But I have to wrap up the meeting right there. Everyone, thank you so much for coming. If you can,
night.
connect with someone in the next 7 days. I'm sure it'll be absolutely worth it, all right? You guys take
And
care. See you soon.
Have a
Thanks
good
for
night,
coming,
GPS.
everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
So this now converts into a hang.
All right. So
This is
now,
how that-
Shayla, you still here?
This is
Yeah.
how this works. Okay, so this is
Wait
how
till
this
the
works.
recording is done.
All right. So Shayla just wanted to drop some news on you. I got